Howdy, folks. I am communicating to you from my bed because I actually want to tell you why I'm Thinking of Ending Things, which was released on Friday, written and directed by Charlie Kaufman, is a fucking masterpiece. It's a masterpiece because this movie is a poem. Now, I don't want to spoil the twists. I don't want to spoil the ending. I don't want to spoil the big reveal. But needless to say, this is a movie about failed dreams. This is a movie about ambitions you never actually had the balls to pursue. This is a movie that plants so many clues and uses criticism in a way to fool the critics. And that is why it is genius. All right. There are a number of references to Pauline Kael, to a novel called Ice, to David Foster Wallace. It's all right there on the guy's bookshelf. Everything you need to know. If you freeze frame that bookshelf, you will understand exactly what this movie is about if you don't know what it is about during the ending. But this movie is a masterpiece because it uses reference in a way to get the person who is not an emotional or an intuitive person to fall down this analytical catnip, much like one of the characters. Again, it's hard to discuss this movie without revealing what the big end is. But needless to say, if you are one of the feeling people, you will know what Charlie Kaufman's game is. And already I have sifted through all sorts of critical reviews by the likes of Richard Brody and Sadie Doyle that get this movie so fundamentally wrong because they are thinking too much up here and not seeing and feeling what is directly in front of them. This is a movie about every choice you could have made in life. Every choice you could have made in life, but you sought approval. You listened and were seduced by criticism. You believed that mattering meant more than living. And that is why this movie is not only a masterpiece, but I think it's also kind of an essential piece of art for 2020, as we're all struggling what to do with ourselves in the pandemic, as we face even more hurdles to how we live and how we are. And that is why I think this is probably the best fucking movie of the year. I doubt that I will see a movie that got my head and my heart percolating as much as this one did, but not in the analytical ways, more in the feeling poetical ways. I mean, it's deliberately shot in TV aspect ratio, not widescreen. You'll note if you watch this movie, pay attention to the squares within squares. There's a reason for that. It's more of a visual movie than I think people are willing to give it credit for because Charlie Kaufman is known as like a head fuck kind of guy. But no, this is a very feeling movie. In fact, I would argue that it continues Kaufman's trajectory into this sort of feeling filmmaker who uses intellectualism as a way to show the audience that they are guided too much by their own intellectualism. It is a movie to be felt, not thought. And if you actually fall prey to the references, you're actually the very people who probably need to see this movie again. You're the very people who Kaufman is speaking to. So, and even if you aren't that kind of person, even if you are a feeling and instinctive type of person, this movie is definitely for you. But I loved the fuck out of this movie. If you hadn't figured it out by now, this is my take. Don't worry about whether you get everything, because the best art is ambiguous. And this one most certainly is. Down to its very ending. Down to the sounds you hear during the closing credits. I'm not going to reveal what this is, but feel this movie. Don't think it. And I guarantee you will be as hopped up as I have been all day. I've seen the movie fucking twice now. Twice. That's how much I love it. I'm going to see it again. It's that kind of movie. So do yourself a favor, and if you're one of the freaky people, if you're one of the people who likes fucking weird-ass movies that are actually about serious, emotional things, this movie is also, by the way, it is a critique of patriarchy. It is a critique of male privilege. It is a critique of male entitlement, and it is also a critique of a sort of kind of Midwestern vibe that usually is attached to the falsehoods of the American dream. But I'll let you figure it out. I get it. A lot of my friends have gotten it, but these fucking numbskull critics like Richard Brody and Sadie Doyle, who are too dense and too tin-eared to life, who cannot feel what's in front of them. They're not going to get this. You, however, if you're watching this, I think you will. It's just, anyway, see it. It's great.